The stowaway Captain Eleanor Morgan lay on the cold metal floor of the Celestial Dawn's core chamber, her breathing ragged as the echoes of the dying creature's scream faded into the silence of the powerless ship. The emergency lights cast a dim red glow, barely illuminating the space around her. The ship was quiet now, eerily quiet. But she knew the danger wasn't over. The echo was gone, but its presence had left a scar on the ship's systems. She needed to get the power back online and stabilize the ship, or they would be adrift forever in the void of space. With a groan, Eleanor pulled herself up and approached the control panel again. Her fingers trembled as she worked the console, trying to reboot the ship's main systems. But the echo had done more damage than she realized. The interface was glitching, the code scrambled beyond recognition. Just as she was about to initiate a manual restart, a soft noise caught her attention. It was faint, barely discernible above the hum of the emergency systems, but it was there, a sound like breathing. She froze, listening intently. The sound wasn't coming from the systems or the machinery. It was coming from behind her. Slowly, she turned around, her eyes scanning the shadows. And then she saw it, a figure, huddled in the far corner of the chamber. Unlike the echo, this one was solid, human. It was a child, no older than 7 or 8, with wide, frightened eyes and a shock of dark hair. The girl was dirty, her clothes tattered and worn, and she clutched a small, ragged blanket to her chest. She looked up at Eleanor with a mixture of fear and curiosity. "How did you get here?" Eleanor asked, her voice hoarse. The child shouldn't have been on this deck. No one but authorized personnel had access to the ship's core. And yet, here she was, a stowaway, just like the echo. The girl didn't answer. She simply stared at Eleanor, her eyes filled with a quiet intensity that made the captain uneasy. She took a step closer, lowering her weapon, trying to appear less threatening. "What's your name?" Eleanor asked gently, crouching down to the girl's level. The girl hesitated, then whispered, "Ayla." "Ayla, how did you get here?" Eleanor repeated, softer this time. "Are you lost?" The girl shook her head, clutching the blanket tighter. "I was hiding," she said. "From it?" Eleanor's heart skipped a beat. "The echo? You knew about it?" Ayla nodded slowly, her eyes never leaving Eleanor's. "It was inside the ship. It came with us a long time ago. It talked to me sometimes. But I didn't listen. I stayed quiet." Eleanor's mind raced. How had a child survived on the ship for so long, unnoticed by everyone? And how had she known about the echo? Something didn't add up. "Where are your parents?" Eleanor asked cautiously. "They're gone," Ayla said softly. "They went into the darkness. And never came back." Eleanor felt a pang of sorrow for the child, but there was something else, something unsettling in the way she spoke, as if she knew more than she was letting on. The captain's instincts, honed by years of command, told her that Ayla wasn't an ordinary stowaway. "We need to get the power back online, Ayla," Eleanor said, standing up. "Can you help me?" The girl looked at the control panel, then back at Eleanor. Slowly, she stood and walked toward the console, her small hands brushing over the interface. To Eleanor's surprise, the system responded immediately, the glitches smoothing out as if the girl's touch had somehow calmed the ship's nervous system. "How did you do that?" Eleanor asked, her eyes narrowing. Ayla shrugged, her expression innocent. "It listens to me." The ship's systems began to hum back to life, and Eleanor's unease grew. There was more to this child than she could understand. She had survived for years, evading the ship's security, and now she was seemingly able to communicate with the ship itself. "Eleanor," Ayla said suddenly, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's not over." "What do you mean?" Eleanor asked, alarmed. "The echo wasn't alone," Ayla said, looking up at her with those intense, knowing eyes. "There are more. And they're coming." A cold chill ran down Elena's spine. The Echo hadn't just been a stowaway, it had been a scout. And now, whatever was out there in the void, whatever ancient force had sent the Echo to the celestial dawn, was on its way. The ship's power fully rebooted, and the lights flickered back on, but the sense of safety that came with it was fleeting. Elena knew the real fight was just beginning. "Ayla," Elena said, her voice firm but calm, "we need to get to the bridge. I need you to help me keep this ship safe." "Can you do that?" The girl nodded, her expression resolute. Together, they left the core chamber, heading toward the bridge. Elena's mind raced with possibilities, trying to prepare for what was coming. But one thing was certain, the Celestial Dawn was no longer just a ship. It was a battleground, and Elena Morgan was about to face a threat unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. And this time, she wasn't sure they would survive.